To solve colorism is very easy, but it's also complex. Because first of all, you got to understand what is colorism, right? Now, you're probably thinking, you already know what colorism. But just for the record, let's assume that you don't know what colorism is, right? Colorism is a symptom or is a disease of white supremacy. I'm going to repeat that again. Colorism is a symptom of white supremacy. It's not a black problem. It's not even an Asian problem. It is a human problem. Yeah, because it is a symptom or disease of white supremacy. Now, let's get this into context, yeah? Because before we can solve anything, you've got to find what the problem is. Look, before I go off into thorough detail, imagine this here. You have this light skin versus dark skin, and you're probably thinking, hang on, how did this happen, right? You're probably thinking, how comes black women or dark-skinned black women prefer light-skinned men, or they prefer to be with white men, and dark-skinned men prefer to be with white women or light-skinned women. And here's the thing. Me, as a dark-skinned black man, do I prefer to be with a light-skinned woman or a white woman? To be honest with you, I just prefer to be with a black woman. Now, if I was to look back at all the women that I've been with, I would say the majority are, you could say, on the darker side of melanin. That's a me thing on the top of my head right now. But that's the thing, is melanin actually talk? Because what is melanin? Melanin is just pigmentation, right? Everyone has pigmentation. Some have less melanin and some have more. Doesn't make them better or worse. But here's the problem. This is where colorism comes in. With colorism, it's the mindset of light is white, technically, and light is right. Now let's break this down even further. You ready for this info, yeah? Alright, here we go. Where does white supremacy stem from? White supremacy is not about every white person and all that stuff there. Yeah, you got white privilege, but that's a disease of white supremacy as well. But anyway, back to colorism. Let's take it back. When you were a kid, and leave the answer in the comment section below. When you were a kid, did you, let's just say from the ages of, I don't know, 2 to about 9 years old, did you believe in race? And I'm not talking about running, I'm not talking about race, as in black, white, Asian, or African, Caucasian, or Asian. Did you believe in that? Because some kids are, let's be real, some kids are very aware because they're taught at certain ages. Yeah. For example, I can say to you that I don't know. I really do not know. But from childhood, from what I do know and what I do remember, and from the documents that I've seen from my social care file, is not only did my foster mother teach me about black history, but my parents, my biological parents, they taught me about my roots, like where I actually come from. And I actually remember, you know, in my childhood, that I was very proud of my Igbo name, even though I couldn't remember the full name. It's Ife, right? And the only reason, like, the funny thing about it is the fact of, not funny, but it's interesting how what tends to happen in school is let's say, for example, if I wasn't taught by my parents and by my foster mother about black history and about my roots and stuff like that, yeah? Let's say I wasn't taught that. And throughout school, especially in secondary school, when they teach black history, or, yeah, when they teach history, or black history more or less, I remember one teacher, and he was my tutor as well, Mr. Walensky, aka Terminator, like, he basically, what do you do? They put on the DVD Roots, and this is what tends to happen. Most kids, okay, I'm not saying most kids, but from what it seemed like, it does seem like most kids, especially black kids, whether they're light skin or dark skin, and let's take away the term light skin and dark skin, whether they're on a lighter shade of melanin or darker shade of melanin, or in the middle. There's many shades of melanin. That's what they don't teach. Think about it. Was you taught about the many shades of melanin? Yes or no? Leave your answer in the comment section below. Was you taught about the many shades of melanin? Yes or no? Because I wasn't. Even though, but I wasn't. And I wasn't taught about the whole DNA structure and how, if this person breeds with this person, the child that comes out is going to look like this or that. Like, I didn't know that. I honestly didn't know that. You only get to know that as you get older, but then there is that term of if a white person gets with a black person and they breed, then they have a mixed race child, right? Alright, in retrospect, yeah, they do, but no, they don't. Because the larger society, especially, the government and the police, they're just going to see that kid as that person as black. I'll give you an example. Go pull up the news article on Mark Duggan. I remember they were saying he was black. And then I was shocked when his mom was white. Now here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's be completely honest. There's nothing wrong with quote unquote interracial relationships. There's nothing wrong with that. We're all human. We all need love. Get me? We all need certain things in our life. We all need that. Like, let's not lie about that, right? But where it gets misconstrued, and before I get into that story, let's get back into the other story to do with roots. Now, imagine if I wasn't taught about my history, my own bloodline history. Just imagine that. Imagine if all I was taught was you come from slavery. That's what they teach. And they teach that in the schools, but then they also have so many slavery movies. So if that's all you're seeing, yeah, and let's be real, most parents are working, right? Most parents are working. If they're not working, some black fathers, I'm going to be completely real here, some of them are not with their kids. Some of them can't even get work, and some of them, even if they are working, some of them don't come back home. Some of them end up either, they may have a domestic or whatever. I don't know what the situation is, but let's just say some of them are at the betting shop for how many hours? Do you see what I mean? So by the time they get home, their kid is probably sleeping, so they don't have time to teach their kids anything new. Do you understand? Because they believe that, see, this is the other thing, black parents believe that school teachers are supposed to teach their children. Where did we get this mindset from? Because to me, that's not normal. Like, think about it. Leave your answer in the comment section below. Do you believe it's normal to have, yes, it takes a village to raise a child, don't get that wrong, but to have the mindset of you're not experienced, or you don't have the experience, or you don't have the skills, you don't have the knowledge to teach your children, then God or your ancestors wouldn't even grant you with the opportunity to be a parent. That's just some real talk. So let's get that out of the way. So I feel like I'm missing the point here. So let me read it back in. Yeah? All right. So look, I didn't want to make this video any longer than it should have been, and it really has been. So if you're talking about slavery, guess what happened, right? Check this out. You have more of the darker skin slaves. Well, I didn't want to call them slaves, but we were talking about slavery history and all that stuff there. They were more of the field slaves, right? But then the lighter skinned ones were more inside. They were in the house. They're called house slaves. Now check this out. I'm pretty sure you would agree with me, yeah, that this is the same context or the same situation that happens in multiple industries, such as the entertainment industry, where light is the more lighter you are, the more you're more pushed up. Like, in fact, I remember seeing something more recently with who was it? I can't remember who it was, but it was like they were auditioning, and a dark-skinned black woman, she was much more better. Like, I kid you not, she was much more better. Like, I even made a comment about it. I think it was I saw on Instagram on the Shade Bar. I can't even remember too tough, but yeah, I realized the light skinned one, she's decent, but I think they sang the same song as well. But the dark skinned one was unbelievable, but the other person chose the light skinned person. So these things happen, but why does it happen? Do you understand? It's because at the end of the day, it's a situation where the media that is controlled, well, most of it, there's 6 major media mainstream outlets, 6, and they control the majority of the networks. And what tends to happen is they push a narrative. So your thoughts are not your thoughts. What you prefer is not what you really prefer. And let's be real, school teachers don't teach you how to be critical thinkers. I don't know how I became a critical thinker, so I'm going to put that down to my parents and to my foster mom. I just put it down to them, because somehow I'm a critical thinker. I think for myself. I always question everything. You understand? And I see things from a different perspective. So, yeah, like, look, at the end of the day, we want to solve colorism. So you have to understand where it comes from. Yeah? There was another point I was trying to make as well. But yeah, in the majority of all industries, the light is pushed up. So it's the same thing with white supremacy. It's just the connection of, you know, light is right, and then the darker, and do you see what I mean? The dark skin are more pushed to the bottom, and they're seen as less than. Do you understand? And that happens in relationships as well. So you see more of, for example, you see more of black men, especially the ones that are perceived as successful, the more with light-skinned women or white women. And the same thing with dark-skinned women that are successful in the mainstream or whatever it is they do, they're more with a white guy or a light-skinned guy. So you look at it, and some of them actually have excuses, like, oh, they're too loud, or too aggressive, or too, I don't know, I can't even remember what these excuses are. But for me, if you genuinely like that person that you're with, and someone asks you why you're with them, you don't diss someone else or a different group of people. You focus on why you're with that person. You highlight all the positive reasons. Do you understand? So, like, I don't know how to explain it to you, but the point I'm trying to make is, this is colorism. Yeah, it's the inferiority mind complex, where light is white, and it's quite simple as that. The only way to solve it now, I'm pretty sure you must have guessed it. You have to teach your children where they come from. So first you've got to find out where you come from. Because look, it takes a village to raise a child, correct? So if it takes a village to raise a child, but also you're not teaching your child their roots, then they're going to be, more vulnerable to the effects of colorism. So the only way to eradicate it, and the only way to solve it, is to be part of that solution. Yeah? Now, what you're going to do is click on the link in the description box below. Yeah? Click on that link, become a member of the Onochie-Obayuwana Trust. And once you become a member of the Onochie-Obayuwana Trust, you will learn, or you'll get access to online courses such as parenting, such as also African history. And within that African history course, I tell you now, I'll just give you like a brief trailer, or words of trailer, I don't know how to explain it. But basically what you're going to get is you're going to get information on how to teach your children about, their roots, or how to you discover more of your roots. Because let's be real, let's just say, for example, you didn't come from slavery. How would that feel then? It would be completely different. Because not every black person was a slave. Like, not every black person had an ancestor that was slaves. And not every black person had ancestors that were kings and queens. That's just facts. There are billions of black people on this planet. Billions. And billions of human beings on this planet. Not every white person was slave owners. That's just facts. Do you understand? Not every Asian person was, or every Arab, or I don't know. Do you see what I mean? Not all of them were slave owners either. That's just facts. We've got to deal with your reality. Yeah? I'm sure you also agree that charity begins at home. So it's the same thing. Everything starts at home. Everything starts at home. I was fortunate to come from a situation or a family where they taught me what I needed to know from early on. Now imagine if, imagine this, yeah. Imagine even if I actually were properly raised by my mom and my dad, yeah. The level of pride I would have, yeah, coming from where I come from would be different. It will be like, I'm still prideful now, don't get it twisted, but it will be different. Like, I know it will be different. But I'm grateful for my upbringing regardless. So, look, let me not continue talking, because I'd rather you just do the action. Let's solve this problem once and for all. Look, you now understand where it comes from. You know about my story. Now it's about your story and the children's story, and you're going to change this situation, because it starts with you. It starts with you. So click on the link in the description box below, yeah, where it says become a member of the Onochie-Obayuwana Trust, and you get access to those online courses. And look, if you've got any questions or any topics you would like for me to discuss, or for us to discuss, then leave that in the comment section below. And as always, peace, blessing, and more prosperity. All right.